Welcome to part 1 of Competency 4 quiz. In this video, we will work with questions relating to arithmetic and geometric sequences. Okay, number 1, what is the 52nd term of the sequence? 27, 13, -1, -15. Okay, if you've watched the other videos, you may remember that I didn't solve them directly. So to solve this one, you would have to remember A1 plus B times n minus 1. You'd have to remember the formula. Okay, that's all well and good. If you remember the formula, okay, of course you can. Now, if you had several questions related to this question, you could go into sequence mode like I showed in, I believe it was the very first video of Competency 4. And you could enter it in the sequence and go and look at all the information in the table and graph it. And that's great. Or we could directly approach it and we could say 27 plus, this has got a common difference of minus 14. So I could say in parentheses minus 14, and then that would be 52 minus 1. Pop all this in. And I'm going to put it in exactly the way I wrote it, okay? So that would be 52 minus 1. I know it's not all necessary, but there's our solution, okay? Now, what if I don't remember that formula? All of a sudden, my brain went blank. Fine. Now, if you watched the part 7 video, we would push enter. Okay, I'm sorry, stat, then enter. And see how I have in the first list 1, 2, 3, 4. Second list, you put your given 27, then enter, 13, enter, -1, enter, -15, enter. Okay, back out, push that, move over, and it's number 4. Okay. If we, and I showed this in another video, if we reduce our formula, we actually get a linear situation. And that's why you want number 4. Go down, okay, to where it says to store. Well, we want to store that in alpha trace number 1. Okay, we want to save it there for our purposes. Once you see this, where it builds it, our linear regression, and you can build it off that, which is, yes, different, but you do see that we have our common difference as our A. Anyway, not a big deal. So we want the 52nd term, so you go alpha window. It's already on 52, second graph, and there's our answer. One reason I did that in prior videos was to give you that other place to double check in case you were asked a multitude of different things, okay? Anyway, with this method, the list method, you do not have to memorize the equation. Remember though, every once in a while, you're going to run into a geometric situation that this won't work for, okay? The calculator won't do it for you, okay? And in that case, you really need to remember the equations. All right, so let's go to number 2. In a certain arithmetic sequence, the 5th term is 20.4 and the 12th term is 36.5. What is the value of the first, which is your A of 1? Okay. All right. So first we need to remember the formula. A(n) equals ace of 1 plus your D and minus 1. Yes, that is, I wrote it down above, but you need to remember that that really equals ace of 1, right? That, remember, it's a general equation for everything that you need to remember what it is, the whole thing, not just the part of the expression, whatever. Okay, so we can use that. So we need to pick one of these situations. They gave us 2. They gave us the 5th and the 12th. I'm going to go with the 5th. All right. So we start with what it equals, our a sub n, okay? Then we put equal. Now, we don't know what a sub 1 is, but we do know it's plus the common difference, but we don't have a list to get the common difference from. Well, that's really not a big deal. I'm going to set this up right here. We're going to fill that in, and then we're going to say our n is our 5. Remember, we picked this one to work with. So we want to say 5 minus 1. Okay? All right. So let me change colors. All right. So we begin with the 12th one, the larger one. What we're doing is we're saying y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Okay, so we get our distance, okay? So our y is our 36. That will be our answers, okay? And then 20.4. Then let's go to our terms. Our nth would be our x, whatever, however you want to see it. That will be 12 minus 5, okay? Now, let's go over, and we are in function. See, obviously we're in function mode because x's are coming up. You have to be in function mode, which we are. You can see right there that we are. Okay, back out, second mode. Now we're going to use the numeric solver. So push math, arrow up, you'll see that it's option C. Push enter. Okay, I have it entered. Now be careful. Make sure you have all the numbers right. 20.4, okay, and then X. Okay, that's another thing. Instead of a sub n, obviously we're not going to type that in. Since it's the only variable, we can call it x, okay? And then we set up our fraction. Here, let me do that. Let's just do the whole thing, okay? X plus, it'll be alpha y equals, and we want number 1, okay? So we want 36.5 minus 20.4. Uh-oh. Go back over. Something happened. I pushed something. 20.4. Now go down. 12 minus 5. All right, good. Arrow over, parentheses. I'm just going to type in what I have. 5 minus 1, close my parentheses. Okay. Double check your values because I've made mistakes here. When you start getting tired, you make mistakes. Okay, now where it says okay, I push the okay. Now, notice it says solve. It's because I haven't solved yet. I don't have that little bullet point down here. So let's push graph. Okay, now I have my solution, and you see that it's telling me, here's your bullet points, you're done. And that would be option C. Okay, now let's go to number 3. It says, here, let me go up all. Okay. In a certain geometric sequence, the 7th term is, and that's a nice long term, 14,745.6. And the common ratio is minus 4. What is the value of the first term? That's the a sub 1. Okay, so what we do is for this, we can just pop this in the solver too. But we do need to know the equation. So the equation is, here, let me go ahead and just write it. A sub n equals, okay, a sub 1 times the minus 4 to 7 minus 1. Okay, don't forget that it's n minus 1. Okay, 7 minus 1. All right, let me write that actually. Actually, I think probably what would be best is for me to write that in general terms. Okay, that would be times our r to n minus 1. That would be our sequence. But we're not going to put that in our calculator. We're in function mode, so we're going to use the numeric solver. Okay, so our answer that we had, let me go with another color. We need to put in 14745.6, okay, equals to x, and then I'm going to use parentheses minus 4 to x. Yeah, we don't know actually, we do know. We are in 7th. So we need to erase that and put 7 minus 1. And I know that's 6, but I'm going to go ahead and use 7 minus 1. So you see where it all came from. Okay, so let's go second mode to back out. Math, arrow up. We're highlighted with what we want, numeric solver. All right, let's clear this out. Make sure we enter it right. 14745.6. Push enter. Okay, clear everything out. We have x, parentheses, minus 4, close your parentheses, and I'm going to carry it up and say 7 minus 1, okay? So we push where it says okay, that's graph. Remember, we have to push it twice. Once it says, now you can solve. Notice our prior answers in there, okay? And push graph again. And that gives us the value of A, which is correct. Okay, number 4. Which one of the following sequences is neither arithmetic or geometric? Okay, what you need to do is look for a common difference or a common ratio. All right, so let's back out and start punching some numbers. And I can tell you for a fact that the first one should be 0.7. Right, we'll just and it would be arithmetic, okay? So you start with the second value, which would be 20.1 minus 19.4. Push equal. It's 0.7. Well, I can see from the second to the third, that is not what I wanted. Okay, right here. I can see that that is plus 0.7. Okay, but we can double check that. 20.8 minus, what, no, I'm sorry. Yeah. Minus the last one, which would be 20.1. Let's see what we get. And there we go. So this one, it says is neither. That means we're looking with not. We don't want either of them. All right, so A is not what we're looking for. It actually has a common difference of plus 0.7, so that's not going to work. Now, when we look at the next one, that one, I can tell you right now, it's geometric. So you can either try subtracting these or you can go ahead and set up division. Okay, so let's do that. Let's go alpha y equals minus, and then I'm going to say alpha y equals and save it. Okay, so I'm sorry, I think I may have said the same thing, but we needed y equals and number 1 enter. Okay, doesn't matter. I'm going to enter, but I have negatives. So arrow over and put your negative in. Then go back. And I have to take the second one and divide it by the first one. So I need 3 over 8. So 3, arrow down, 8. Then I go to the bottom, the denominator, and I have to set up my alpha y equals number 1. Okay, but it's also negative 1/4. So I have to go to the front of it, put in a negative, and now I need my 1/4. 1/4. All right, now I can push enter. And let's see, yes, and it's telling me that I have a ratio of 3/2, which is equal to 1.5. However you want to see it, but that is geometric because we have a ratio. Okay, and the next one, it is also a ratio, and I can tell just by eyeballing that one. Okay, so we're going to have 40 divided by 100.4. And then 16 divided by 40.4. So that's a common ratio. So this one and this one, it says we're looking for the one that's not. So let's look at D. I can tell by looking at it. If we subtract, we're not going to get the same value. And if we divide, we're not going to get the same amount. So the option that we're looking for is D. Okay, that's the last question in this first video for your Competency 4 questions. All right, thank you for watching, and I really hope that you watch the next video. Thank you for everything, subscribing and sharing and liking our videos. You're the best. You've been very helpful with keeping all these videos up. We will make more in the future. All right, happy testing, everybody.